Hey everybody, Mark Edward Lewis here with CinemaSound.com. Today we're going to look at a question that we get a lot, which is what kind of microphone should I use on my phone, for my phone? Well, here I've got this is the Apple iPhone 7 Plus. I know it's a little old, but it's an oldie but a goodie. Has a lightning port. For those of you who are using Androids, obviously you've got the USB-C port. And for those of you who have older phones that only have the 3.5 millimeter or the big wide thing or whatever, well, you probably should just upgrade your phone. I'm sorry to say. There's not a lot of really good resources out there. Why? Well, because that 3.5 millimeter port is really not bypassing any of the horrible things that the good folks with phone manufacturers have done to cut corners. And those corners that they cut are always the sound. You know, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that the primary purpose of a phone, a modern smartphone these days, is to make a phone call. And of course, it is not. If you know what the primary purpose of the phone is, please put it down here in the things, because it is not about making a phone call, not about sound in any way, which is why sound gets the cut all the time. Now, for many of our modern phones, like this one, you have three microphones on here. You have the one that's here, a microphone, not just a speaker, but you have the one that's here so that when you're doing a selfie, they can hear you speaking. And then, of course, you have the one that's down here. Ooh, what am I doing here? Crazy here. One that's down here for while you're talking on the phone. And then there's one back here. I don't know if you can see, get it close enough here. See the little hole that's there? Oh, horrible. There's the hole next to the flash there. That's actually so that when you're shooting video this way, that you can get sound this way. You know, this microphone won't pick that up very well. None of these microphones are microphones that you want to be using. Not one of them. And in fact, the next best microphone up would be the one that comes with your phone, this little microphone on your headphone bits right here. It achieves sounding bad. It's extremely noisy, but has a really, really good high-frequency response. But again, the problem with recording on your phone is that everything gets compressed, especially if you're using one of those built-in voice recorders, horribly, horribly compressed. And it doesn't matter even if you've got a $10,000 microphone that you're running in your phone. If you're using a built-in software recorder in your phone that's made from the manufacturer, you're getting horrible compression. You don't want that. We always want to record uncompressed audio in every situation. Unlike video, where compression is sort of important, in audio it only ruins the sound. We never want to record audio with MP3 or MP4 or AAC or whatever if we can avoid it. I'm not going to get into why, because we're talking about what kind of microphones for your phone. Come see us at the CinemaSound.com education. I show you all why. And in the very, very first chapter of the CinemaSound education, we show you visually what happens and why we should never use compressed sound. Okay, so the first thing we have to do before we can get a microphone to sound any good on our phone is bypass the phone. Yeah. We don't want to use a 3.5 millimeter connector. We want to use the digital connector. And on an iPhone, again, the lightning port, on your USB-C for you Android folk, that's what we want to use. So what kind of systems do we have available to us to first get analog signals into digital? Well, you can get some really expensive things, but it's really not necessary. The first thing we want to do is get a good recording software. Find any recording software that does PCM, called LPCM or WAVE or AIF. And you want to record at 24-bit, 48K or better. Now you can get microphones that have Lightning or USB-C connectors that go right into your phone, kind of like this. And that's going to be a whole lot better than using the microphone that's here, right? Saramonic makes the SmartRig, which fits right into the Lightning port and the USB-C. And it's a cardioid condenser microphone, way better than the one that's on your phone. Just if you want something simple, that's an easy answer. But if you have, people that you need to have lavaliers on or all these kinds of things, what do we do? Well, again, like Rode makes the Smart Lav, but it's wired, which is fine. But first of all, it sounds terrible. I have one, I promise you. It sounds terrible. Don't waste the $80. And secondly, again, it's 3.5 millimeter. You're going back into the phone and the horrible analog to digital converters that are there. They're awful, noisy. And then going, if you are recording in compressed audio, forget it. So we want that Lightning USB-C. That's what we want. So we want to get something that affords us a great way to get into our phone. And that has nothing to do with your microphone, but we still have to have this device. What would that device be? Well, Saramonic makes a great product called the SmartRig and the SmartRig Plus, mono and stereo versions. XLR and 3.5 millimeter input with plug-in and phantom power, 9 volt with a headphone output. Why does the headphone output matter? Well, think about this, you iPhone users. You got your lightning port, you've plugged something into that to run your microphone into it, how are you hearing it back? You're not. And, you can't because something's plugged into it. It would come back out the lightning port. We're going to listen to it on the speaker? No. So this allows us to have the headphone port coming back out so we can listen to playback with a simple switch. Phantom power, like I said. And it's a little noisy. It adds a little bit of noise. It's true because it's really inexpensive. But the value does not go up as you go up in price with more expensive pieces of gear. We just want to be able to get our microphones, good microphones, into the phone. And if we add a little noise to it, that's probably okay as long as our gain structure is correct. Because we have Adobe Audition, we have, Acusonics plugins, we've got, of course, Isotope RX that does a great job of stripping all that stuff out now. So what microphones should we use? Well, in that case, it doesn't really matter. And it's sort of like, well, how long is a piece of string? It depends. And I've got a whole bunch of videos here on this channel and, of course, at Cinema Sound that educate you as to what kind of shotgun microphones, what kind of lavalier microphones, what kind of large diaphragm condenser microphones should we use, and when should we use any of these or all of these. But for us in the phone world, we need to be able to get past the phone electronics, and this Saramonic SmartRig is a really, really awesome and easy way of doing it. They also have a simple wire kind of device that plugs into your Lightning or your USB that has all the analog to digital stuff in the middle of it, and you can connect anything you want to it, which is also super dope. Hopefully, this video has been helpful to you. If so, please subscribe to us here at the Cinema Sound channel and come visit us at cinemasound.com, where we have, as I've mentioned, hundreds of articles and videos to give you that unfair competitive advantage in the Hollywood multimedia and independent multimedia space for immersive audio and production value for your audiences. Hopefully, we'll see you there. Until then, we'll see you on set.